Hello, boys and girls. Today in health, we are going to continue through chapter 5. When we started chapter 5, we learned about the skin anatomy and how to take care of it. So you need your health books. And right after this review, I'm going to need you to open up to page 100 because that's where we're going to start. So you can pause the video anytime you need to get your supplies, or if you need me to repeat anything, you can just rewind. Okay, so in our last lesson, we were talking about skin anatomy and how to stay clean. And do you remember that they said that cleanliness is different than neatness? They're both very, very important. Cleanliness, if you look, has the word clean in it. Now, something can be clean. That means that it's washed, it's been lathered with soap, it's nice and clean, doesn't have oil or sweat on it, like your skin after a shower, or your hair after you wash it. Now, sometimes though, things can be clean, but still mussed up a little bit, like messy hair. You could just wash it, towel dry it, let it go, don't comb it. It'll be clean, but it won't be neat. So, neatness is different. And if you look at the base word, neat, something stuck on my finger. There, that's better. Neat. That means that the hair has been combed, your clothes are put on straight, things are in order. Okay. So let's review our skin anatomy. Let's move this so you can see everything. Okay, so the first thing that we learned about is the epidermis. Now, if you look at your arm, you can see your outermost skin. That is the epidermis. And if you look here, it shows you, this is the epidermis, it's the top layer. That's the part that you see. Now, the epidermis grows kind of thick on the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet to give those extra protection. Your hair and nails are also part of your epidermis. Yep. Then underneath the epidermis is the dermis. Okay, and there it is right here. That's this white part. That's the epidermis. And look at all of that that's in there. Okay, when this part of the skin gets hurt, that's where you feel the pain. The dermis has the sweat glands. That's these little squiggly things. And the oil glands. And those tiny openings, those little holes in your skin are the pores. And you can see whenever you get hot, the sweat comes up out of the pores and comes out onto your skin. So look at your arm. Do you see little holes in your skin? Those are your pores. All right, so we know that perspiration, oil, and dirt, that collects on our skin, and we need to clean that off to stay healthy, or we would have problems with our skin. Okay, so we talked about those things. Now we're going to start with page 100. We're going to talk about washing our hands. All right, so washing our hands is very important. Okay, now if you look here at my sign there that I'm showing you, now I did get these off the internet. These are not my own pictures. If you look at the red parts, you can see that's where people mostly forget or miss to wash their hands. Either they're in a hurry or they just don't get the soap all over the place. And the blue ones are also commonly missed areas. And then the peachy ones, that's where everybody usually gets their soap and they get pretty clean, okay? But what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you wash your hands, you cover all areas. Okay, so let me see if I can get my hands here. When I'm washing my hands, and they look really big in the screen, okay, you want to make sure that you get your thumb. You want to get everywhere. Get your other thumb. Get in between your fingers on both sides. Scrub-a-dub-a-dub your palms, both sides. And even go up your arms just a little bit. Okay? Okay, now, when you wash your hands, you also want to use warm water with plenty of soap, because if your fingernails are dirty, you need to scrub them with a nail brush when you wash your hands. But though you need the warm water because it works better than cold water, especially with the oils and things. Okay. At the end of your finger, there is a cuticle. And if you look at your fingernail right now, go ahead and look at it. Any fingernail on your hand. The cuticle is way at the back part towards your finger. It's what connects your nail to your finger skin. And you can see it's like a little ridge of skin that goes alongside your nail. Let me see if I can show you mine. It's like right there, it runs along there. Some people have really thick cuticles, and then some people hardly have any cuticles. But that, after you get a shower, you're gonna want to, whenever the skin is soft, you're gonna want to push it back gently with a towel as you dry your hands, because that helps to prevent hangnails. Now I know a lot of you sometimes complain about your fingers hurting because you got a hangnail in the winter time. That's real common. And then we put a Band-Aid on it. Well, you can prevent that if you push back your cuticles a little bit. Now, by push back, that doesn't mean that you force them back. You just very gently just push them back. Okay? Now, how many of you trim your nails? Your moms probably trim them, or your dads. But you want to keep your nails trimmed because they can catch on things, snag, they can rip or tear, you know. And it also collects a lot of dirt under there. You don't want to bite your nails. You want to use these. Look at these. I know you have seen these before. You take it, and then you can clip your nail like that, okay? And you want to clip it straight across. You don't want to curve it all around into the quick part, the cuticle part, from like cuticle to cuticle. You want to just go straight across, because if you cut too close to your finger, ingrown nails can happen. And a lot of people, not a lot, but some people get ingrown toenails, and you don't want that to happen, because that can be very, very, very painful. And that's when the toenail doesn't grow right. It doesn't grow out of the toe. It ends up growing back into the toe, and it becomes very painful, and then you have to go to the doctor, and you have to have it fixed. So when the weather is cold, you want to be careful to dry your hands thoroughly, because in the winter, water can cause dryness, skin dryness, and you can get chafed skin. So, yeah, you're going to want to dry really, really well. Okay, now we're going to move on to our hair. Why do you think it's important for us to wash our hair? Well, take a look at that picture. What do you think that is? You can pause the video and look at it and try to guess. I'll give you a hint. There is a tongue sticking out there. Well, that is a really matted dog. That dog has dirty hair. That dog has not been shampooed for a very long time, and that's what happens to hair. It gets oily, it gets dirty, and it mats together, and then it's just a mess, and it gets knotted, and little things like to live in it, and you don't want that to happen. So you want to keep it from being like that. You want to wash it. Okay, so you're going to need to shampoo your hair at least once a week. I would assume everybody does more than that. That is the minimum. Okay, whenever it's hot out in the summer, you're going to want to do it every day. You know, if you sweat, you should wash your hair. Okay, now shampooing is going to remove the dust and the dirt as well as the excess oil from the oil glands. So, do you shampoo your own hair? Okay, well, first of all, if you do, you want to make sure you get all of your hair wet. Then rub the shampoo into your hair and your scalp thoroughly and scrub with your fingers. Not too hard, just not with your nails, just with your fingertips. You want to get that shampoo worked all around so that every part of your hair is lathered. And then you want to rinse it really well. You don't want to use too hot of water and you don't want to use cold water. Like I said before, you just want warm water. Okay, I'm going to show you something. This is what happens whenever somebody does not wash their hair often. This is somebody's scalp. Okay, and these are skin flakes from not being shampooed, you know, and there are little bugs that like to live in hair like that. Okay, or you can get rashes, or like you can get a skin infection because it's if that person would get a cut there, infection could go in because it's so dirty. Okay, and all it takes is a shampooing, and that won't happen. Keep shampooing. So what happens though? Let me show you a clean scalp. Look at the difference. Look how nice the skin can breathe. You know, I mean, there's no bumps, no old skin. It's nice and clean. The hair looks healthy. Okay, so you're back to shampooing your hair. You got the lather everywhere. Now it's time to rinse. Do you make sure that you rinse everything really well? Because you should, okay? You want to make sure that you just don't feel any shampoo left in your hair. Make sure that you get behind your ears, the back of the nape of your neck. Make sure you rinse that really well. Then, when you're done, you want to dry your hair with a clean towel. You're going to rub your hair and your scalp thoroughly. Again, not too hard, but you want to just rub it around. That helps to stimulate your scalp. Okay, and it brings the fresh oil from the oil glands to your hair in a good way. Okay, and when your hair is dry, then you're going to brush it well. So then your hair is clean and neat because you brushed it or you combed it. Okay, so if your head feels itchy, first of all, you might not be rinsing well. Okay, you want to make sure that you rinse the shampoo well. But if you know you rinsed it well and your head is itchy all the time, you want to have mom and dad check that because some things can happen like lice. Now, lice are small insects that lay their eggs on the hair and then they hatch after 6 days. And the lice, it can spread easily to others at home or in school. So that's why you don't want to share your combs or your brushes, or girls, your barrettes or your hair ties. You don't want to share that with anybody. It doesn't matter how good of friends you are with that person. It's just better not to. Just better to be cautious and not, take the chance of lice. Okay. You also want to keep your brush and comb clean because that's going in your nice clean hair. After your shower, you go in with your dirty hair and you come out with your clean hair. You don't want to use a dirty comb and brush because then you're back to square one again. So you want to keep your hairbrush and your comb clean. Okay. Now your hair does need to be combed several times a day to keep it neat. That's for sure. And it will keep it from getting tangled. So do you remember to comb your hair often? You really should comb your hair before meals, before you go to school, before you go to church. Anytime you're going to leave the house to go to the store, walk the dog, anything, you want to make sure your hair is combed. Okay. What happens if you're taking proper care of your hair, but it still doesn't look shiny and healthy? Well, Maybe you're eating a little bit too much junk food. It's true. Or you can start eating more foods that are rich in vitamin A. Do you know what foods those are? I'm going to tell you in a minute. Oh, and the other thing is if your fingernails split or break easily, or maybe they don't even grow hardly at all, they're real slow to grow, your body needs more protein or more vitamin A. And remember, vitamin A keeps your hair, your skin, and your fingernails looking healthy. So, do you know what kind of foods those are? Well, I'm going to tell you. Okay, so foods rich with vitamin A are egg yolks, milk, liver. Yes, I said liver. And fish liver oils, butter, and enriched margarine. I don't know if anybody eats margarine too much anymore, but dark greens and orange vegetables and deep yellow fruits. Yep, those are full of vitamin A. And protein, of course, are your muscles that we talked about, your meats. Okay, so let me show you. I have a picture of a boy here with nice combed hair, and see how nice and neat that looks? Okay. Now we're going to move on to our clean clothes. Why do our clothes have to be clean? Everything else has to be clean, but then why do our clothes have to be clean? Well, because clean clothes help to protect your body from diseases. So we need to take care of our clothes. Now, your mom washes your clothes and keeps them mended, but it's your responsibility to help keep them clean and neat. Okay, so when you come home from school, when we go back to school and you start coming home from school again, you want to make sure that you change your good clothes and put on your play clothes. That way they stay nicer, they don't get ripped, they don't get torn, they don't get mud all in them. Okay. Now, if you don't play in them outside and get them all muddy and everything, sometimes they can be worn again. So when that happens, like you didn't sweat, all you did was, it was just a normal day, you just wore them through the day, but like I said, you didn't sweat or get them dirty, you can wear them again. Okay, so what you do though is you don't throw them on the floor, you hang them up on a hanger, or you fold them up and you put them neatly away. Don't just shove them into the drawer. Okay, fold them first. And if your clothes are dirty, do you remember where they go? They go in the hamper. Okay, or you give them to mom and dad to take down to the hamper, or whatever, you know, your mom and dad have you to do with the dirty clothes. You want to make sure they go to the wash. Okay. The other thing is you shouldn't sleep in the same clothes that you wore during the day. So your PJs or your nightgown needs to be clean and fresh. So the clothing next to your skin becomes dirty from perspiration, you know, your sweat and your oil and all that. And then that gets in your bed. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to put that in your bed. That's why you probably take your bath or your shower at night before you go to bed, since you play in the dirt. Okay, so if your clothes are dirty and you're wearing them a lot while they're dirty, that can cause skin infections, and it can also smell pretty bad. So your feet also sweat. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but they do. They get hot, they sweat. So you need clean socks every day. Okay? So we want to make sure that we have clean hands, clean body, clean hair, clean face, and make sure our hair is clean and combed, our fingernails are clean and trimmed, and that our clothes are neat and they're not all wrinkly from being all over the floor. And then you just want to make sure you keep up with what's called hygiene, which is keeping yourself clean. Because poor hygiene shows other people that you are careless or you're lazy. Yeah. So you want, when people see you, they want to see a clean you. Okay? And also, it's pleasing to God. Because if you look at page 102, there's a Bible verse there. It's in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 19 and 20. And it says, "What know ye not, that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you? You have of God, and you are not your own. For you are bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's." So as a believer, we have to take care of our temples, because your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, because He's living in you. So that's just a little something to think about. Okay? So let's stay clean and tidy. And what I need you to do is to reread pages 100 through 102. Turn there now to page 102, and I need you to stop right after that Bible verse where the title says "Keeping Your Teeth for a Lifetime," because we'll be learning about teeth next time. Okay, then after you read these couple pages, then I have a little questionnaire, like a little quiz for you. It is open book. You can use your books, but I have that for you also to do. And yeah, and then that's it. So read those pages, do the questionnaire, and then you're done for this lesson. All right, until next time.